What is going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk to you on Polestar. It's been a while since I've done a Polestar update, so I want to go over some of the data points, what's been coming up from the company itself, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So today it is down 2.7%. Market's just been open about 30 minutes ago. A lot of volatility. 235,000 shares have been traded. 2.5 million is the average. So today most likely will be a little bit lower of a volume day, as weird as that is. But if you kind of look back over the last month, give or take, Polestar has shown a lot of signs that it wants to truly break out. So once I go over some of the data points, that'll make a little bit more sense. But PPI did come out today, not necessarily the best. And then later today, the Feds are going to be making their interest rate decision. I don't think anyone really anticipates any change happening. So it's most likely going to come in line with the forecast of 5.5. But it's what is going to be said afterwards is going to dictate what happens with the broader market. Because there has been a lot of analysts coming out and saying that a lot of people were optimistic about the Feds cutting rates sooner rather than later and have already priced that in. So if Powell comes out today and says, you know what, we're not considering any rate cuts anytime soon, well, the market is just going to tank. And because of that optimism, like I mentioned, that's actually why Polestar has been going up as well. So as of today, though, there hasn't been any real press releases, no SEC filings, nothing like that. The last news that did come out was on November the 15th, on where it says the Polestar 4 production starts. First customer deliveries expected before the end of 2023. And we are very close to the end of Q4 concluding. So a lot of eyes are going to be on production numbers. So this was posted on Twitter by Bram right here. So as you can kind of see, they lay out all of, I guess, Q1, Q2, Q3, and the projections for Q4 for delivery numbers. And so as of right now, not including anything for December, it shows around 7,185, bringing the grand total for the year 46,847 vehicles being delivered. And so last earnings, they did reiterate their target of 60,000. So once again, I could be wrong about this, but that seems a little bit too far-fetched. So if they do, in fact, miss on their actual delivery numbers, then that is going to cause the stock price to tank so much more. But again, as I mentioned, all of these numbers right here within Q4 are just projections, so do your own due diligence at the end of the day. So this is something that's going to be coming down the pipeline. There hasn't been really any analyst ratings. Last was done about 30 days ago. Dan Levy, $2 price target. Sell rating from Barclays, Dan does have a 46% success rating. Then Jamie Perez, RF Lafferty was last month, $9 price target. So oddly enough, like I said, analysts still haven't really warmed up to Polestar, still not really seeing much upside despite them producing a ton of vehicles. When it comes down to shorts, right now shorts are increasing about 4,000 shares or almost about 5,000 shares. 23.38 million shares overall are being shorted. And like I've said in the past, Ortex doesn't really have the free float correctly documented on here, so it does show NA, but in reality it's about 5 to 6%. That's what the short interest is. Still relatively high somewhat from what Polestar actually does do, but the cost to borrow average is 21.32%, which is relatively high. And through the interactive broker, short availability does indicate that there's around 350,000 shares available to be shorted. So shorts aren't really doing too much to analyze this, because I like to use this as a benchmark just to say like, hey, they're increasing on a red day, that means this or whatever else. This is just, they're not really doing anything. So they're just sitting tight. And most likely this is why the volume is a little bit low today across the board, because a lot of people are just waiting with high anticipation on what is going to come later today from the Fed decision. So once again, that's something just to sit tight and wait. When it comes down to options, a lot of calls are being purchased. So 2,100 in calls, $0 in puts. All the call options that are being purchased for the most part are bearish. So 85% of all the options done today so far are bearish. Looking at some of the calls that have been purchased so far, it looks like it's around the $2.50 range. But looking at the open interest, it's still not much optimism. It's kind of anticipating for it to be above 250 by January, but other than that, like, options aren't really a big thing for Polestar, which kind of matches with what I've been saying in the past about just Polestar not really getting much attention overall. Looking at some of the puts for the open interest, it is anticipated for it to be sub $1 by January. So once again, you kind of have both extremes. A lot of people are anticipating that Polestar clearly is going to continue to break down, maybe as a result of missed deliveries or just more and more debt. Because if you look at some of the analyst ratings, or I guess the estimates for upcoming forecasts, they're not really much optimism for the upcoming Q4 earnings. If anything, some analysts got more bearish because it did go from -14 cents to -16 cents for the earnings per share for the upcoming earnings. So analysts became a little bit more bearish, and looking at the revenue, it looks like it went from 961 million to 821. So once again, analysts are seeing Polestar more in a bearish viewpoint than anything. So let me know your thoughts on that. As well, while I'm here, the latest Morningstar report did come out, and it shows the fair market value for Polestar, just based on the assets and whatnot, being $3.65. So it does show that Polestar is at a pretty significant discount, in my opinion. But once again, let me know your thoughts on that. And plus, if you're looking for a lot of good compiled information, such as Morningstar reports, analyst ratings, analyst forecasts, everything under the sun, take a look at Interactive Brokers, link in the description below and also the comments. But when it comes down to technicals, let's talk on that. So with it at $2.16, it is between this S1 and the pivot. So it is briefly breaking past this pivot point of $2.20. So as it stands, 204 is going to be that next strong support. And I wouldn't really consider the P broken right now, but the R1, which is $2.36, that is going to be the next strong resistance. And that's been very strong resistance because over the last several weeks, it's failed to even break above that. So once again, there's a lot of kind of back and forth when it comes to Polestar. But I still do truly believe that Polestar is going to do a lot of good things. They've really started to ramp up on their technology. They clearly have, well, maybe not to their estimates of 60,000, but they do have the ability to at least produce 50,000, maybe more, going into the foreseeable future. And all it'll take is just some analysts to warm up to Polestar, or just some institutions to start to invest in Polestar. I don't know. That might really increase the volume, the liquidity, and everything else. So once again, let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Give yourself a shout out in the comments if you have been buying. Have you been selling? What have you been doing with Polestar? And it might be a little bit more premature to talk on, but do you think that Powell is going to be cutting rates anytime soon? Do you think that his upcoming speech is going to be bearish, optimistic? What's your viewpoint? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And one final thing I just wanted to share with you, take advantage of this promo, link in the description below and also the comments, only up until December 31st. But if you sign up for an account with Moonwith, throw $100 at it, you get 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So take advantage of this, one of the best promos on the market. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, I appreciate all of you watching.